Namaste. Welcome to this another edition, the live stream which we are doing today. So I think people might have enjoyed our previous live stream we did yesterday on a research-driven topic. So today we are back with our general political discussion. So we are continuing this political discussion specifically on the Bengal elections and the long-term ramifications for Bengal elections and how it impacts the Indian politics and specifically the politics of Hindutva. So, on looking at this topic, we have decided to talk about two things today. We will just touch upon first the Falta elections that we had, so and what kind of impact it will have for the results, including the polling numbers in terms of how many Hindus have voted, and then we'll deep dive into uh, the the long-term ramifications. So communism and missionary activity in West Bengal, which is a lot of people talk about communist impact in West Bengal, but not too many people are familiar with the missionary activities happening and the Hindutva movement that we have in West Bengal right now in this nascent stage. The two enemies which are going to play a very important role uh, to make sure that the Hindutva movement is sustained via like managing these two enemies. So Vijitda, welcome. Namaste.
Hello,
Yeah, we
namaste.
can hear you. So, Bijitda, before we deep dive into our primary topic, which is the enemy of Hindutva, that is missionary activities and also communist uh, impact that we have. So, before that, we just discuss a little bit about the Falta elections which happened. Just touch so that actually because it also has because the Falta elections numbers are also important. What we're going to talk about today.
Right. So you know what happened? I think in the second phase of West Bengal election, state election this year. So there was a constituency named Falta, which comes under the Diamond Harbour sort of central constituency in the sense that Abhishek Banerjee, the cursing Banerjee, the cursed Banerjee, so to say, Abhishek Banerjee was actually the MP from Diamond Harbour. Falta comes under Diamond Harbour. And apparently, so Abhishek Banerjee won that seat in 2024 with, and he won by, I think, a margin of 8 lakh votes.
Yeah,
Now,
8 lakh.
after that, he started calling it the Diamond Harbour model, which is basically a model of vote chori or sort of voter blocking in the sense that all those voters who want to vote against TMC would not be allowed to even come out of their home, and someone else will be voting on behalf of them, and then Hindus will be suppressed or sort of intimidated, uh, like to either vote for TMC or to not vote at all, or like on their behalf, someone else from TMC will be voting for Abhishek Banerjee. So in Falta, there was only 30% of Muslim population, and they had so much terror perpetrated in the heart of the Hindus, 70% majority Hindus, obviously with the assistance of the Abhishek Banerjee, Bhaipo, and Nirmamta, the Choti BC, that the 70, I mean, obviously the police force was with them because Mamta was the police minister as well. I mean, she was the home minister. So basically, the whole Diamond Harbour model that Abhishek Banerjee talks about, it was that model that okay, with the assistance of police and gundas and these Muslim cadres, Hindus will be sort of refrained from voting, and in place of them, someone else will basically cast their vote. Now, what happened? So, in the second phase of the West Bengal state poll, so some discrepancies they found that in the EVM machine, they basically put some fragrance, some ator. ether in the button for the TMC. So if you push the button for TMC, obviously, so and after that you come out, they are going to smell your finger. I mean, I don't know what kind of kink is that, but definitely very useful. That they are going to smell your finger, and if the ether is there, then obviously they will spare you. And if the smell of the ether is not there, they are going to sort of bash you. Some kind of sort of intimidation again, right? And this was in places where sort of in the Muslim dominated places. For the booths where it was not Muslim dominated, they would put the ether in all other buttons except TMC, right? So that if someone is voting for anyone other than TMC, again the same deal, that they are going to smell your finger, and if they find that okay, you smell of that ether, it means you have not voted for TMC. And along with that, the in the CCTV camera, what they found, the election commission found that in one booth or probably in many booths, uh, the button for BJP was actually taped so that no one can see it or vote for it. And this was going on. I mean, the polling officer, the agents, no one actually could object to this sort of arrangement. So then the election commission actually decided that there will be a repolling, which happened on 21st, I guess. Today was the
Yes,
result
21st.
for Falta. So apparently this Diamond Harbor model of Obisab Banerjee, it actually fell flat because this guy Pushpa. So apparently not. I mean, so many stories are there. Like this is so funny and sad at the same time. So the TMC candidate who stood for like who stood for TMC was basically a cadre of Obisab Banerjee, the cadre of Bhaipo, and his name was some Jahangir or something, right? And so Ajay Pal Sharma was an IPS officer who is apparently some encounter specialist. He was brought from UP to Falta in order to counter the gundagiri of this Jahangir. Now, in order to counter, so Ajay Pal Sharma actually went near Jahangir's house and told the family of Jahangir very specifically that, hey, we are getting so many complaints in the name of Jahangir, so like control your guy, uh, otherwise like you will get bad news, and don't come to me with sad faces. So after that, Jahangir made the narrative, and obviously TMC made the narrative that if Ajay Pal Sharma is the Singham, then Jahangir is Pushpa. Okay. So I think no talk about like development or building roads or schools, nothing. So they announced that I am the Pushpa. Like Jahangir announced that he's the Pushpa. Okay, basically a gunda who want to do good for the society, right? Some kind of what do you call it? The Robin Hood kind of character, right? Uh, and then obviously, so um, because now BJP is in power, in Falta, the real election happened. The Pushpa narrative was spreading like during the second phase, like last month. But now that BJP is in power, the whole like police and everything is in the grip of BJP, so to say, or in the grip of justice in real sense. So now, obviously, Pushpa is no more. So Subhendu Adhikari, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, he basically did the couple of Shobha Yatras, and he proclaimed there like, "Kothay Pushpa? Where is Pushpa? পুষ্পা আপনি আসুন খুঁজে পাওয়া যাচ্ছে না শ্রমিক ভট্টাচার্য the president, right, the state president of BJP, he also said like, হে বীর এসো আসন গ্রহণ করো কোথায় তোমাকে মিস করছি বড়, right, to both to Like the whole taunt was toward the Bhaipo, the Obisa Banerjee, as well as to Pushpa. But Pushpa was nowhere to be seen. 2 days before 21st, he announced that he is not going to contest election. So he just पता नहीं बैठ गए. ठीक है. TMC was actually could not sort of understand what to do at that phase. But still, I mean, the people could still vote for TMC. And today, TMC was apparently they got the fourth position. They were fighting with Nota this time, and the BJP candidate won by I think more than 1 lakh votes. Communist Party came in the second position. Um, I think around 40,000 votes, and BJP guy Devanshu, I guess Devanshu got more than
Yeah.
1 lakh 40,000. So that's the news of Falta. Um, so basically now Shubhendu is saying that Diamond Harbour model actually TMC Harbour model रहेगा लोग. मतलब the Diamond Harbour model is now a losing model, a failing model for TMC.
Yeah, so Bijidda, so we are going to now go back to our primary topic that we have chosen. So we have mentioned the enemies of Hindutva, okay, communists and missionaries. So first question is why we haven't not added Islamists into the enemies? Why we are focusing on communists and missionaries currently in our topic today?
Right. So I mean the main point is now we understand the Islamist. I mean, see the Islamist force is very much a physical force. Like in the sense that in Islam, Islam is constructed in such a way that whatever Hindus do, the Islamist or Muslim, like devout Muslim, if someone is devout Muslim, they do it in exactly opposite way. Like if and it comes from this whole Barelvi movement, and before even before that, all these Sufi movement after the invasion by Guri. Okay, so I mean it started long ago. Barelvi movement started in 1700s. Okay, so it was literally written that काफिर को जिससे तकलीफ पहुंचता है वही करना है. So although the cow slaughter is not sort of written explicitly as something which will give the Muslims neki or some sort of good points to go to heaven. Like, in fact, I think there is a hadith which actually says that um, don't kill the cows because they are useful animals. So actually, if you go to now, you have to find out what is the quality of that hadith, because in Islamic hadiths there are like Sahih and Hasan. So Sahih is like it is coming directly from the mouth of some great guy, um, at least some Khalifa or someone like, or the close aid of the Rasul or the Rasul himself. Like it is that first hand reference kind of thing. Like it is pure. It is substantiated by contemporary literary historical sources. And then there are Hasan hadiths, which are there, but which don't have sort of substantial reference to support it. Okay. Now, obviously, in some hadith, it is written that cow is a useful animal. So, I mean, hence, no need to slaughter it. But in India, you see that there is a specific, like, very special tendency of the Islamists to take pleasure in cow slaughter. In fact, they have made it a part of the Qurbani and all other festivals, right? Well, the Qurbani originally was given by Abraham to his own son in a way, right? Now, so this is one example and there are many such examples to basically demonstrate that. For example, if you read Fatwa Alamgiri, there it is explicitly written that planting trees in the mosque is prohibited. Why this is prohibited? Because Hindus in their temples, they keep plants, they keep big trees. Hence, trees and plants in mosque is prohibited. That's why probably you don't see any tree in famous mosques. In pretty much all the whatever Jama mosque you go around India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, probably in Bangladesh you will see because it has not yet become that. I mean, they are not well-read Islamist yet. But in Pakistan or India, you go to any Jama mosque, you won't find any tree, big tree or plant. Why? Again, because Hindus keep plants and trees in their temples. Hence, it is prohibited in at least in Indian Islam, as per Fatah Alamgiri. Um, so from that perspective, Islamic force is very much physical, it is visible, and it is antithetical to Hindus. And finally, you know how to defeat it because it's not a very sort of it is not a very Sikhito narrative. It is not very educated, posh narrative. Islamist narrative is very physical. It does not have much literature to talk about, frankly. I mean, like most of the like you read Fatah Alamgiri, many of the words, most of the verses there are actually very funny. Now we'll basically discuss all these uh, funny sort of. So them using stone to clean their into maybe, yeah, maybe. By the way, throwing stone is also a parampara. Parampara is a bad word. Is a tradition that comes from Kaaba, right? In Kaaba, there is a patthar which they call shaitan, and when they go to Hajj, they throw stone at that shaitan. Okay, so it is again throwing stone at shaitans, at kafirs. It comes from some scriptural references. Okay, everything pretty much that an Islamist do is coming from some reference. Okay, like so for example, in Mufti is a brand, right? So in those kind of brand, you will see pants which are above the heel, like which is not touching the heel. Why? Because it is written as a sunnat that if you are wearing pant, it should not touch your heel. That's why Mufti comes up with jeans and pants which don't touch the heel. So this way, everything that an Islamist or this mainstream Islamist narrative you see around that coming from some scripture, and they are very much antithetical. And the Islamic narrative is not a posh, educated narrative. It is very much it believes in brute force in order to expand, and in the process they come in collision with all other forces, the kafirs, right? But here you have communism and Christianism, which are actually forces which are very deceptive, and sometimes it is very hard to recognize what is actually going on there, because these narratives, like the communist, Marxist, or these Christian narratives, they have written like pages and pages of scriptures and literature around mind washing, okay, around how to read someone's psyche and how to expand, how to create a split inside a society, how to take advantage of those split. They have written so many scriptures. I mean, even Marxism also. So that's why it is very difficult to recognize that you as a Hindu are being subjected to some sort of whitewashing by these missionaries and communists. So let me give you one simple example, right? One coincidence, so to say. Um, so so that communist or Marxist specifically, they don't believe in religion. They think that religion is opium, right? And hence, hence, they should ideally treat all religion, quote unquote, religions, um, like they should maintain same distance from all religions, right? But In India, when like if you see the early communist literature by Manavendra Rai, for example, they took a very clear stand that hey, we have to fight the Hindus because it is the Hindu zamindars and the Congresi babus whom we are fighting, and these are actually Hindu elites, Hindu bourgeois, so to say. And in the process, we have to take on our side the Muslims, who are basically the proletariats, who are being cheated and who are being who are subjected to humiliation by the Hindus, right? While the reality is exactly opposite. I mean, by 1940s, Hindus had been subjected already to slavery already for more than 800 years at least. So, so this is the subversion of narrative that actually the the Indian communist adopted at its very inception, and it led to a point where in 1940s, Gangadhar Adhikari, another communist, he came up with the thesis, the infamous Gangadhar Adhikari thesis, who actually, Gangadhar Adhikari actually says that he proclaimed that apart from Pakistan, I mean, both East and West Pakistan, India is not a monolithic single nation, but it is a land where 18 countries independently reside. Hence, obviously, Muslims are going to get their own land in the form of Pakistan. Other than that, India needs to be fragmented and broken apart and dismantled into 18 different countries because Punjabis, Bengalis, Marathis, Odia, Hindi, like United Province or our Tamil, Telugu, they are all different nations. So the Communist Party of India came up with the thesis in 1940s that the present India need to be dismantled and broken apart into 18 different nations. This is a thesis that the Communist Party of India has not taken back yet. So the Communist Party of India still believes that India should be broken apart into 18 different sovereign nations. You have to keep that in mind when this is the same party which are fighting elections and which are apparently in power. Sorry, I mean, not now, but which had been in power for a very long time in, like, in Kerala. Before that, for the longest time, it was in Bengal. Right now, in Bengal, Communist Party came to power after a very after they created a very anarchic situation in Bengal. Now they came to power in 1977. Jyoti Basu became the chief minister. Jyoti Basu was, by the way, an accomplice of the Direct Action Day in 1946, planned and implemented by Muslim League and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, all these kind of jihadists. Now again, the same question is like you can say like okay, so maybe pre-independence they were like anti-Hindu. Uh, Although communism should not believe in any religion or religious narrative per se, but uh, but maybe after 1977 they acted like communist, right? They acted like they they really don't believe in religion. Now here is a catch and probably a coincidence. So Jyoti was, I mean, Communist Party came to power in 1977. Here is Mother Teresa, who got Nobel Prize in 1979. And we know that Mother Teresa, like sitting at the heart of Kolkata, was responsible for large scale missionary conversion within Kolkata, within a progressive city like Kolkata. If Communist Party don't believe in religion and moreover they believe that religion is opium, how could they allow such a rampant, I would say, genocide to go on at the center of Kolkata? Now, you might say that okay, they might be maintaining same distance from religion or from all religions. Hence, they pretty much ignored what Mother Teresa was doing. After all, maybe this is allowed by constitution to propagate someone's religion, right, or belief. Now, here is another catch. I think the Bijon Setu massacre was which year? So Bijon Setu massacre happened in 1983, 82. So there was this bridge in Kolkata. So there was a sect called Anandamargi. Now, Anandamargis were getting very famous because they were forming some sort of a progressive Hindu movement, and they were spreading very rapidly in large part of Bengal, like in Jangal Mahal, Kolkata, 24 Parganas, Nodia, um, I mean Birbhum, so the Rad Bangla, right? So all this area, they were having Mednipur, they were having huge influence, and they were making so many ashrams, um, uh, and getting so much popularity. And on top of that, they used to
Uh,
criticize the. Mhm.
Brida, one
Hmm.
thing important. Apart from that, they were doing something which is very important. They were running schools. They were providing social services, and
Exactly.
that was the kind of a missionaries were objecting that why they are making schools, teaching Hindu
Right.
secrets to them, and providing social services to them. So that was hurting the missionaries in their
Exactly.
conversions, especially healthcare.
Exactly. So at that time, Anandamargis were providing like schools. They had schools, and those were very much functioning schools. Uh, good students were coming from those schools. Okay, from remote areas, and it was showing the power of Hindu Dharma actually. Now missionaries got very much offended by this. Now, this is the same missionary, right? I mean, 77, Jyoti Basu became Chief Minister of West Bengal. 79, Mother Teresa got the Nobel Prize for peace. And then Anandamargis around that time, they were criticizing these missionaries for their for their vile activities, right? Of conversion and all these things, of superstition. I mean, you have to remember that Mother Teresa was a very much superstitious woman, and the kind of, I mean, Christianism by default, I mean, the Romans used to call it superstition, by the way. Europeans used to call it superstition before they all got converted. So Christianism is superstition, let's accept it. Okay. um, uh, Now Anandamargis were basically catching all these superstitions that Christianism was spreading in our land. And hence, Jyoti Basu conspired against these Anandamargis. So in the Bijon Setu, so basically what they did, they out all these. So near Bijon Setu, there was Anandamargi ashram, I guess. And there was like 16 sadhus and one sadhvi. In total, 17 monks. So the Communist Party burned them alive. Okay, burned them alive, and they tried to suppress the news. Okay, when so obviously they started to call it the deed of some frenzied mob, but there was involvement of police and Communist Party, and I think they tried to. There was an IAS officer who tried to break silence. Now he was character assassinated, and I think he was also his name was Sher Singh, I guess. Okay, but he was incriminated, character assassinated, and no one took Sher Singh very seriously. Okay, now at that time he was basically the DM, district magistrate of South 24 Pargana. Okay, so basically, yeah, I mean, he tried to sort of uncover it, but at vain, in vain. Sorry. So yeah, so basically, this is the Bijon Setu massacre, which was perpetrated by the communists, um, and I think around the same time, it is the communists who actually did the genocide of the Namosudros. Namosudro in Moricchapi. to the extent that some of them had to flee to, I think, Dondogaronno. And the whole news was suppressed by the international press. Forget about the national press, right? By the international press, it was suppressed. So the Mother Teresa was continuing her activities, superstitious activity, like the activities of opium, pretty much. So when the Communist Party was at peak, basically now connect this to recent phenomena that happened. Marco Rubio came to Bengal after BJP won the election. To talk to whom? To talk to Subhendu Adhikari. Now, what might be the reason? You may say a lot of things might happen, geopolitics and the Bangladesh incident and all this. No, no, no. Marco Rubio is a conservative, hardcore conservative. You have to understand. So I'm very
Begin
sure
that
he.
I
Uh-huh.
I think there was already a scheduled meeting there with Mamata Banerjee. It was a pre-scheduled meeting, but it was cancelled for the election results, and he went to meet Mother Teresa. So
I see,
and yeah, yeah.
but if they're talking to the Minister of Bengal, Chief Minister of Bengal, it must be about like giving the sort of leeway to the missionaries, because we know as a fact that the missionaries are now spreading into Jungle Mahal and all these places which that we used to call the Maobadi areas. Now the missionaries are actually spreading in those areas, and they're creating again some split in the tribal society. They're saying that the tribal customs are not Hindu customs. They are calling for another religion, which is called the Sarma religion, right? Sarma, or what was the name of that? Some new religion they have named. We are the worshipper of Surya, the sun, and our customs are different. Hence, it is not Hindu religion. Some stupid argument that missionaries have actually framed. And they have gotten some useful idiots again, right? So all these activities are happening here. You see that now that TMC is totally gone, and TMC is a party which was there without any idealism. The only idealism of TMC was Mamta, money, and probably Mewaji, right? And all these Gundamu and all these things, right? Now that the whole TMC is gone, um, um, and BJP is an ideological party. Now, obviously, in order to counter this Hindutva ideology, the the people who don't believe in Hindutva, like those Buddhijibis and so-called Buddhijibis, right? They will go back and they will adopt the leftist and missionary and all these destructive narratives, and hence it is time for us to actually understand the problem right now, so that we can counter them effectively. And this is basically why we are basically doing this episode right
Yeah, so now apologies because actually I have a network issue, so I'm not able to turn on the camera, okay, because the audio will break. So apologies for the inconvenience. But to continue the conversation, so just for the audience, we have shared the link for the uh, people who want to come and discuss this topic with us. You can do it. We'll welcome you, all of you. So to just to talk about our topic. So
now. Mhm.
uh, this election to 2026 is a kind of a resurgence or reborn Hindutva, that so after 100 years or so, Hindutva as ideology has come back to Bengal, to its own homeland.
Right.
And there are two ideologies specifically which are going to be the enemies or threat to this resurgence of
Mhm.
Hindutva in West Bengal. So one is missionary that you talked about, okay, and second talk about is communism. So the Falta elections results. That's why we have discussed the Falta election results, because the second biggest votes were garnered by the communist candidate, the CPM party candidate.
Right.
Do you see this as something which is a symbolic, a kind of a like opposition which CPM might become in future, or is it just that the because TMC withdrew at the last time, that the people, primarily the minority people, have voted for CPM? So how do you
Right.
see? Is it the Falta election results? Is it ideological, or it is just opportunism by the minority vote bank?
No, so now you have to understand what kind of game will be played by the second largest community, majority, which is
Yeah,
Muslim community. For Muslims, TMC, I mean TMC doesn't would not exist, or at least TMC is not coming to power uh, in Bengal for a very long time, and probably never. Right now, if that is true, it does not make sense for the Muslim community to handhold TMC and fight for them, because obviously TMC is never going to be in the center, never going to assist any party in the center, and secondly, TMC is not never going to be in power in Bengal. So now the Muslim community is thinking that okay, let's handhold the Congress in Bengal, the uh, Congress party in Bengal, the Indian National Congress, because that way we will be able to get some attention from the central command of the Indian National Congress, who was sitting in Delhi, the Lutyens community. Okay, so probably you will see a resurgence of Congress. Right now, the second question is, um, so if they are handholding Congress, uh, how different the ideology of Congress would be from the leftists, like from the Congress by default is left. I mean, Congress is on the left of Indian politics. Let's accept it. And then there is communist. So how Congress is going to be different than communist in this regard? Now, obviously, what Congress can represent within West Bengal is another vile power, which is this missionaries, because it is in the gene of Congress. Like missionary Christianism is in the gene of Indian National Congress. And on top of that, I mean, the kind of central command of Indian National Congress, they are basically Christians. So it is no wonder that here the Hindus will be fighting with the communists, the missionaries in the form of Congress, who are handholding who are siding with the Islamists. Okay, so so obviously it will be very interesting to see, and in future you will be seeing a lot of international coverage of what is going on in Bengal, like the apocalyptic end, and Suvendu Adhikari is a radical, and all these kind of news will be covered. And mind it, I mean, unlike Mohan Yadav in MP, or I don't know, some guy in Rajasthan who is running as the CM of Rajasthan, this time Subhindu Adhikari is definitely going to get some coverage in the international media. Uh, so obviously it is going to be a very interesting fight of narratives. I would like to tell you a few more things, which are that the Hindutva narrative in Bengal, it has a legacy of the freedom struggle movement, the armed freedom struggle, right? অনুশীলন সমিতি, সুভাষচন্দ্র, বাঘাযতীন, বিনয় বাদল দীনেশ, ক্ষুদিরাম প্রফুল্ল চাকি, সত্যেন বসু, কানাইলাল দত্ত, রাসবিহারী বসু, right? Just to name a few. So obviously against whom? Against the missionary powers, right? So obviously the missionaries see this as a land which they could never conquer, right? So they have some special malice against the Bengalis. um, and the kind of central command, the Sonia and Rahul who are sitting in Delhi. It is for the same reason that they hate Bengalis with the same kind of like similar intensity and passion, because like the British started their sort of program and journey in Bengal and in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, just see how much they have spread. And in Bengal, we have successfully resisted the advent of Christianism by very large extent. I mean, we don't see any sort of, okay, there are some Victoria Memorial and some structures and architecture. Other than that, the impact of Christianism is not visible in Bengal. So obviously, I mean, uh, the missionary have special malice against the Bengalis, which will be reflected in the coming days through their coverage of how they are seeing Bengali people and their radical Hindutva, and how it is different than the uh, mainstream sort of constitutional Hindutva of Mohan Bhagwat and Yogi Adityanath, how the Bengali Hindutva is different than that, and they are going to dig up a lot of our 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 influencers. Like Bonkim Chandra is going to be maligned
Rishi,
this time.
Rishi Aurobindo.
Visu Aurobindo will be maligned this time. So we have to be prepared.
Bijit, ironically, the first Bible was translated into Bengali in, I think, in Bahrampur, most probably.
Okay.
If I
Baharampur or
am
Srirampur maybe. Baharampur or
yeah,
Srirampur.
sure, so sorry, Sriram. So I
Srirampur, right.
think he was a Bengali who actually published the first Bible in
Yeah, yeah.
Bengali
I mean,
language.
and
So
even if
it's
you read the letters of Ram Mohan Rai, for example, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he's siding with the British and the Christianism. In one letter, he's writing that the Christianism has brought the age of illumination, and he was actually siding with the British when they were torturing uh, the indigo farmers. So basically নীলকর সাহেব যাদের বাংলায় বলা হয়.
yeah, yes.
um, so against like British were actually doing a lot of atrocity on the indigo farmers. But then this guy, so the indigo farmers and obviously the Bengali elites also, like the urban people, they started a movement. Dinabandhu Mitra wrote the very famous play Nil Dorpon, for which he was jailed. Reverend James Long published it. I think he also got some punishment, although it was not as severe as Dinabandhu Mitra. So Dinabandhu Mitra wrote Nil Dorpon to protest against this atrocity on indigo farmers. While, I mean, before that, I mean, obviously, Nirvanabhu Mitra came later, I believe. But this guy, Rajaramon Rai, is writing that, oh, I went to these places of the Nil Chasis, the indigo farmers, and I see no atrocity. He's writing very clearly. I can show you those letters. So it's a very long tradition of people siding with the British. Indian National Congress is actually saying कि at no point, whatever we do within the National Congress, in the National Congress, the जो yearly उनका जो conference होता था, उसमें वो बोल रहे हैं, दादा भाई नौरोजी and other people were saying कि at no point we should like it should never come even in our mind that British are bad and they are doing bad service and ill service to our nation. We should always praise and all these things. Like we should accept the English, and because it is a superior language and
As our
um,
masters.
as our masters. These are written very clearly in the letters. Someday we'll just read those letters. I have a huge collection of those letters at that time, so probably we can go through those things. So yeah, so I mean, you see, while all the elites were actually, some of the elites actually were working toward giving some leeway to Christianism. In general, Bengalis like refused. the any advent of Christianism in our society. And we know as a fact that Bengali society is highly like Hinduized society. You go to, and it like the whole culture is so deep in the form of various folk cultures, tribal cultures, traditions. Many of those cultures probably an average guy in Calcutta would not even know about. So it is so deep that, and we have so much successfully resisted the whole advent of Christianism that yeah, I mean the Christians might be hating us for being radical Hindus.
Okay, so now we're going to delve deep into a little bit more on the politics part. So, how do you see for next 1 year? Because the next 1 year is very important because we have the panchayat elections. We also have the municipality elections which are going to happen. So, next 1 year is going to be the most happening place in India is going to be West Bengal politically and also in terms of electoral politics. So, how do you see the how TMC is going to fare? Is it going to be broken down into like it will break, or and who will be the like who will the opposition of BJP next 1 year? Is it going to be
Right.
CPM? Is it going to be that missionaries who are going to fund some other parties or other organizations who like is it going to be missionaries who are going to be the opposition in terms of influence, or is it going to be communists who are going to come out as the primary opposition is 1 year when we have the municipal elections and also other elections which are going to take place in next 1 year in West Bengal?
Right. So I think one aspect of understanding this is understanding the source of funding that these opposition parties would get. Uh, Now, obviously, on one side we have Bangladesh, but Bangladesh is such a country that used to get funding from Mamta to Bangladesh to their own Jamati organizations. So it is hard to believe that Bangladesh will be able to get these parties a substantial amount of funding. Hence, we can safely assume that the funding will be coming from somewhere else, probably some missionary organizations. And you have to understand these Abrahamic cults, they thrive when there are such muddled waters and sort of fights going on, right? Like in this 1 year, we are going to have a huge sort of frictions politically and socially because we have to move forward, right? But this is the right, in the eyes of the Abrahamic power, this is at least Christianism. This is the right time to make their move. So probably we will see that the missionary will try to fund the. Now, if they're stupid, they will try to fund the Trinamool Congress. Why I'm saying that? Because again, TMC is not an ideological party. They have done a huge amount of corruption. So if these missionaries are actually trying to revive Trinamool Congress through funding, it will be very much a frail effort, so to say. If they are wise, they will start to fund the Communist Party, um, because obviously these are very much ideological, uh, and they have a long history of Indonesia, which will assist them to make their own advancement, like advancement of these Abrahamic cults, specifically Christianism. So if they are clever enough, they will fund the communist parties, and obviously the communist parties in Kerala, they already get huge amount of funding from the uh, from the from the missionaries. Hence, the link is very easy to sort of to establish and to continue, right? Um, Now the issue is whether these guys in the modern Communist Party, in the 21st century Communist Party of India, they are going to play to the tune of these missionaries. This will be very interesting to see how this guy like Shatarup Ghosh or Meenakshi or this other famous woman, Samdhor, right? Forgot the
Deepshita or
names.
something.
Deepshita,
Deepshita.
Deepshita, they changed their whole tone to accommodate Christianity. If they are changing their tone to accommodate Christianism, it will be very clear that they are getting funding from the missionaries. But probably probably people like Muha Moitro and Kolyan, these guys will be able to gather some funding from the missionaries and also some coverage in the international media because they have some sources which will help them to really write columns um, on international media. Now, if you see already the radical Islamist power, um, like from India, like those Arfa, and then the another woman, um, घुंघराले बाल क्या नाम है उसका आयुब राना आयुब
Uh,
so
yeah.
हाँ so now uh, like how much they love the Communist Party, um, at least the Communist Party in Bengal, it will also define a lot of things, probably how the Communist Party is getting the coverage. But I think these Islamists would rather try to cover the the Communist Party people more than the TMCs, because TMC is already like is being bad mouthed. There being like so many songs are being written that file chore, mat chore, and whatnot. So now I think we will. If you ask me to put a bet on one party, I think it will be Congress and Communist Party, and not Trinamool Congress.
Okay, so if communists are going to be the primary opposition, including Congress, okay, so now we know the history of Communist Party, what they have done for 34 years since 1977. They made West Bengal the industrial wasteland, like the way we see, we call Detroit the wasteland of
Right,
car manufacturing. So, how do you think a capitalist CM, Chief Minister, Shubhendu Odhikari, who is a capitalist, okay, in no equivocal way. So,
right.
how do you think, and what kind of, like, how do you tackle them politically and economically? Because it's going to be like Bengal is going to receive a lot of investments from central government. Google is going to invest. There are other people who are also going to invest. So, what do you see the challenges which are going to be faced for next 5 years if we see that the communists are going to be the primary opposition?
Right. Um, so now, see the main issue that the Communist Party in Bengal is going to face is this. I mean, in spite of everything that is going on, now it is an age of information and not age of disinformation or misinformation. Okay, I mean, okay, people are saying a lot of things, and some of these things are true. That okay, social media can be, I mean, can be controlled and all these things. But in general, you like information here travel faster than I mean, any other thing ever, right? In the history, it is traveling at the speed of light, practically saying. So so obviously because information is traveling so fast, this is challenging for all Abrahamic power, including communism, because communism is also some sort of an Abrahamism, right? I mean, it is an Abrahamism without a god. Uh, like no god is the god in communism.
They do have a
So
god, Karl Marx.
Karl Marx is the prophet,
Yeah.
but the no god null set is a set, right? So the absence of god is the god in communism. Um, right. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that this time it will be very challenging, and we are here. We know the truth of communism and similarly any other rotten cult of Abrahamism. So I think communism will be like, if they try to rise this time in Bengal, it will be, the narrative will be successfully countered, very successfully countered, uh, because we know of so much literature that we are not going to spare those scoundrels. So, um, and in a way, we want it. Like for us, the Hindutva people, and I think in College Street, Kolkata, Nirajan also said this very specifically, that we do not want this noise named TMC. We want, like, because these TMC people, they are on ground, and the communists, they are doing fire from the bush. Okay, so that it's very hard to sort of control. But if TMCs are away, the stage is clear. Communism is coming to us, okay, to fight with us. It will be a one-on-one fight, and this time we will, like, convincingly will win and defeat Marx. I mean, we have already defeated Marxism. We Now we have so much narrative at our own hand. Like, we have our own experience, right, to talk about. Other than that, there's so many narratives that this time we are not going to let this cult go scot free. We are going to strip them naked, and we are going to bash them very hard. Um, so we want this fight to happen. Actually, it should be in the interest of Hindutva people, and Hindutva, Hindutvaism, if that is a thing, um, to want this situation where they are going to have a one fight with communism, because that cannot happen in Kerala because of the whole demographic situation, right? Here it can
Hmm.
happen, and here the communism against Hindutva that has an additional tadka to it, because so because here you see, if you talk in the narrative of um, in the narrative of Marxism, so to say, obviously there is this whole political Marxism, where they are gonna say that these Hindutva people are the bourgeois, and Islam, I mean the Islamist and the jihadis are the Muslim people are the proletariats. They are going to play on that ground, um, or yeah, so mainly that thing. On the other hand, we have the like Hindutva people will be owning the cultural Marxism. Why? Because the people from the around Kolkata, people from Mednipur, Bankura, Purulia, Birbhum, Bardhaman, Murshidabad, Nodia, Chobbish Pargana, these will be the people supporting Hindutva, and by default they are proletariat because they are not living in Kolkata, right? In this whole feudalistic structure, the Hindutva people will be the proletariat, and the people who will be sitting at the center heartland of Kolkata will be the bourgeois. Like the communist people who will be running their campaign from Kolkata will be the cultural bourgeois, and people outside Kolkata will be the cultural proletariat. So this is something where um, which actually define the demise of Marxism. This is the real situation in which Marxism would perish. Why? Let me explain in more detail. So, obviously, you see these kind of ideologies like Marxism. What they try to do first is capture the state, right? So they have an agenda, they have a book, they have a cult, using which they want to whitewash a huge faction of the population and grab the power, grab the state, right? And by capturing the state, from there they want to create a culture. So it's the journey of Marxism is from the state to the nation, right? They capture the state, then they try to capture the nation. they are not like Hindutvawadis who try to capture the imagination of the nation first and then go on to capture the state. It is the other way. So now, obviously, the sort of campaign that they will be running, it will be to capture the state, right? And in the process, they will be riling up a lot of anger in the mind of the people who are not part of the state and who are the cultural, so to say, who are not like part of this, who may be, let's say, politically Marxist, but culturally Hindus. So in the process, when they will be starting to capture the imagination of the Hindus, in order to capture the power of the state, they will be riling up the nation, which is outside the realm of the state. So in the process, they will be riling up the cultural proletariat who are outside the state. Okay, and that is the end of Marxism. Because when they try to do that, they are creating their own antithesis, and this way they will, like, their own ideology will start to annihilate themselves. Just like when they in 2013, what they tried to do was 2011, what they tried to do, or before that, we are going to have the capitalist path to bring uh, all these industries and everything. Right now, that was their own antithesis. That was antithetical to the belief of communism. Hence, people could not accept it. Right, the communists who were in the state, as well as who were politically Marxist, could not accept that fact. So it broke down like a house of cards. This time it is going to be even more sort of bloody, and that will like this way will be convincingly finish up communist party from this land, from this holy land of the Hindus. That's my assumption. I mean, we want this war to happen, and we can see that this is coming from the Falta election. Also, you see the um, uh, second highest sort of party, like the party who got the second highest number of votes was Communist
Hmm.
Party of India, Marxist.
Correct.
So we see this is happening, and we are prepared for it. We know this is coming to us, and this is precisely the war that we want. I mean, we don't want to fight with TMC anymore. Uh,
Hmm.
it's not fun. The fun lies in fighting these communist scoundrels, and this is
Okay.
happening as I see it.
So now, okay. So now we're going to discuss. So in terms of narrative, correct. So I think Shubhendu Adhikari has done a good job till now in terms of pushing the narrative of Hindutva with the ban on cow slaughter uh, and also Vande Mataram being implemented mandatory in all government schools. So with that in mind, what do you think the narrative wise BJP government needs to do to one uh, fight
What
and
is BJP
mitigate
government?
the BJP government? The BJP government has done a good job initially. They
Hmm.
had made mandatory Vande Mataram in government schools, including madrasas, and also they have like banned cow slaughter uh, in open. Correct? So you can't
Right,
do any
right,
cow
right.
slaughter. Okay, so these are two very important part of the Hindutva ideology itself, Vande Mataram and cow slaughter, which has been a thorn in the chest of all the Abrahamics and communists. So with that in mind, for next 1 year or 5 year, what should be the narrative push that BJP government needs to make to keep at bay, first of all, the missionary activities, especially in the rural Bengal, okay, because primarily they are doing in rural Bengal and also adjacent Calcutta adjacent areas. Correct. So if you see places like Behala, just yeah, you continue. I'll just back in 1 minute.
Sure, sure. So yeah, I get your question. So what should BJP do in order to counter this power? See, frankly, I don't believe that BJP is going to take a quote unquote take beef with the missionaries, because BJP has never done that historically, frankly saying. BJP has never taken it head on with the missionaries. So I don't see much hope. And from a because I'm a guy from Jungle Mahal, I mean, okay, from Rad Bangla, uh, it is frankly like, if BJP doesn't take care of this part, the missionary expansion in the Jungle Mahal, it will be a very sad thing to see actually. Um, we are trying our best in our own capacity to sort of awaken the BJP leaders, so that a counter narrative or some like groundwork may proceed against the missionary expansion in Jungle Mahal. But again, I'll be very happy to see BJP taking it head on, or Subhendu Adhikari taking it head on with the missionaries. Okay. Now, the second part was that, so how do we see the coming 1 year and 5 year? See, the in Bengal, if we want to if we want to sort of restore what was there in terms of education and everything, education industry, commerce, intelligentsia, I think the first thing we have to do is like we have to make substantial change in the school syllabus. Um, and we have to bring back the rigor that the state board and all these boards had in West Bengal, in the syllabus itself, in the school syllabus. Secondly, we have to depoliticize the colleges, so that all these different things, like even in medical colleges, we have seen there's this guy Obig there. I think he was
Yeah,
from SSK, who used to dictate who is going to get a supply, who is going to fail, who is going to pass, which grade someone is going to get based on their political belief and ideologies. Now we have to really, like, the state need to intervene here and say that there should not be any politics, student politics in colleges. We have to stop that, like wholesale. We have to ban student politics in colleges. The Kolkata colleges are very infamous, and this disease has spread into all colleges across the whole of Bengal. So you have to stop that right now. And I think in one of the speeches, Subhendu Adhikari or someone said that, Swapan Das Gupta, someone said that we have to wholesale ban this student politics in Bengal colleges. So that's one part about the education. In terms of industry, obviously, we're going to get some funding, which will lead to new startups and new ventures from within Kolkata, and a lot of probably defense work, defense related projects will be taken up by the Bengal government to protect the border, for example. The port will be revived, the Calcutta port, probably the Haldia port as well. And the jute related businesses, that will be, we will probably see a revival there. Um Obviously, better connectivity uh, in terms of like tap water. So we know there are a lot of places in remote villages where there's still no tap water. Okay, and there are other local problems as well, like the arsenic pollution, for example, in many of the Rad Bangla villages. So people, I mean, the ministers will have to work on those part specifically. Um, and then obviously there are so many research institutes in Kolkata which are not performing well in recent times. So those need to be taken care of. Um, Now these are the things where we see some work might be happening in the coming days. But अभी तो एक साल मुझे लगता है कि टीएमसी का तो पिटाई चलेगा. पिटाई मतलब पुलिस के द्वारा लीगल पिटाई जो होता है, they are going to be thrashed and bashed. One second.
Yeah. So one more. Okay, we'll take some comments till Bridget is back. So let me get this.
हाँ
Yeah.
हाँ
Yeah.
सो एक साल तो टीएमसी का इस पे जो भी है बैशिंग में जाएगा. And really, I don't want BJP to get stuck in this whole vortex of TMC bashing, because TMC, again, frankly, it does not matter in the bigger picture of Hindutva actually. I mean,
Okay.
obviously
Do you
the
see? Okay. Do you see TMC as a party as we see today with 87 or some MLAs? Do you see that amount that 87 MLAs remaining after 1 year? Because a lot
no,
of
no, frankly, I don't
pundits are
know.
saying that.
I don't see that, but there are like one more thing, which is that there are 40 MLAs, 40 Muslim MLAs from TMC.
Correct,
So,
correct.
it may so happen that the 30 MLA, 30 Hindu MLAs will stay with TMC. Seven Hindu
Hmm.
MLAs will probably leave. 7 or 10 MLAs will, Hindu MLAs will leave TMC to join BJP. But out of 40, maybe 40 or 35 Muslim MLAs will leave TMC to join Congress or Communist Party.
Correct. So
I see
now,
that happen.
two more things which is we think we need to discuss. Then we have the guest also joined us. So Rishi, just wait for 5 minutes. So we'll let you in. So in terms of syllabus, because that is I think the economic development
I
of
forgot to say
Bengal.
one more thing actually. One more
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
Go ahead.
Syllabus will
Hmm,
come. The club
hmm,
culture. So I will see
hmm,
a revival of Onushinol Samiti wala culture, where the
hmm.
clubs will be used um, for revival of the Bengali youth through
Okay.
exercise, gym,
Yeah.
sports.
So
I
do
actually
you
see the club culture getting changed in West Bengal.
Okay, so do you see, do you see, like, I think from our program also, if somebody is watching from BJP or any other people who are also BJP, do you think the club culture, which is already there, correct, it is ingrained in the Bengali psyche, in the Bengali social milieu that we have, the clubs, correct? So now this club culture be utilized to actually solidify Hindutva in terms of,
Yes,
let's say, you can have yoga, you can have Gita, you can have
right.
Shama Sangit. Okay, so these are like a Hindutva adjacent activities, correct, which connect you to your Hindu roots, correct? Can and especially Gita, okay, because that
Yeah, yeah.
is something which is very important in terms of
I already see that
aesthetics, in
happening.
terms of culture.
Right.
So, so will
Huh.
the BJP government will be able to actually utilize to actually
Yes.
solidify Hindutva in the Bengali psyche, especially urban Bengali psyche?
Right. I already see that happening.
Hmm.
I mean, in the villages, the first thing, see, during TMC era, what happened? So they actually opened a lot of local, like desi, pecho pecho মদ যেগুলোকে বলে না, local desi daru shops in villages.
Hmm, 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 hmm,
Uh, and along with that, a lot of other nashas actually penetrated into villages. So the thing that I'm seeing in villages is that the first initiative, among the very first few initiatives that will have taken up, because see, a lot of panchayats are now with TMCs, right? Pretty much all the panchayats are with the TMC guys, but there is a thrust from these BJP sort of cadres in these villages. So what are they doing right now? These BJP cadres, they are looking कि घपला तो नहीं हो रहा है. The second thing they are looking कि फंडिंग का जो फंड आ रहा है ढंग से यूज हो रहा है, कौन कहाँ कहाँ चोरी हुआ है वो पकड़ रहे हैं, कहाँ कहाँ थ्रेड्स दिया गया है वो सब पुलिस को बता रहा है. द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट दे आर डूइंग इज दैट ये जो दारू का जो शॉप्स है जहाँ नशा चलता है, कि গ্রাম গ্রামে ये बोला जाता है कि টিএমসি এমন কালচার এনেছিল যে রাতে একটা এক্সট্রা লাইট জ্বললে লোক মদ খেয়ে নিত. मतलब every night they made it a दारू फेस्ट बेसिकली, कि कोई एक ओकेशन बना के दारू पी जाओ, ये वाला कल्चर। तो दूसरा कल्चर जो आया था कि कलकत्ता से काफी लोग क्या करते थे, इधर जमीन खरीद रहे थे और वो आते ही थे कि यहाँ पे बैठ के दारू वारू पियेंगे, थोड़ा मस्ती करेंगे, फिर कलकत्ता वापस चले जाएंगे. So these sort of cultures. So in villages, what the BJP cadres are right now doing, कि ये जो लोकल दारू शॉप है ये बंद करो. ये जो दुर्गा वाहिनी जो कह रहे हैं, दिस इज नॉट अ जोक एक्चुअली. बीजेपी इज वर्किंग ऑन मेकिंग दुर्गा वाहिनी इन विलेजेस, फर्स्ट टू काउंटर द दारू कल्चर इन द विलेज. ये तो दिख रहा है, आंखों के सामने हो रहा है. एंड सो दारू वाला तो बंद होगा. द अदर थिंग दैट दे आर डूइंग कि क्लब का देखभाल करना, कि क्लब में अब से वो ये सब नहीं चलेगा, बीड़ी सुट्टा दारू नहीं चलेगा. क्लब में हम लोग ढंग से खेलने के लिए यूज़ करेंगे. वहाँ पे जो जैसे पहले यूज़ होता था खेलने कूदने के लिए, इसीलिए यूज़ हुआ है. I don't see yet they got someone to preach on Gita and all these things. Those are not happening yet, but probably in coming days हमें भी एक मंच खोलना चाहिए ताकि ये सब लोगों में जाके हम लोग बता सके. दिस इज एक्चुअली गुड आइडिया, भूपेंद्र. Actually we can make an organization of
Hmm.
few people who will just roam around villages and give lectures maybe once a month on in Bhagavad Gita and all these things. But that has not happened yet. What is happening is the club culture changing before our own eyes.
Got it. Okay, so now we will add Rishi to our discussion. Namaste, Rishi.
Hello, hi Rishi.
नमस्कार नमस्कार भजन की नमस्कार.
Namaskar.
Yeah, what do you
uh,
have to say?
yeah, lots of things happening around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, lots of things happening now, right? So we have, uh, as per today's topic, I just had some questions to Bijit and you as well.
Hmm.
um,
Hmm. Hmm.
Given the tendency of Bengali intellectuals to harken back to Jesus morality, how much do you think that there will be any change as far as Christian missionary influences are concerned? Because I don't think there would be, like, readily there won't be such a great change. It would take a lot of time, I think so. Because there is an ingrained tendency within uh, Bengali intellectual culture right now to be, how should I say, this whole stick of compassion, that they use right now, for especially for saving minorities from uh, being, what should I say? So when they act unlawfully, they are saved by these sort of intellectuals in the name of
Worship.
compassion, which is
Right, right.
basically refuge of Jesus morality. So how do you
No,
think this will
but
be
the point,
countered?
I think, no, I think this time Christianity is not going to penetrate or spread through Kolkata or through urban and elite people. I think this time it is going to spread in the remote villages as it is happening now, right now, as we speak. What they're doing is that they are, because they have huge amount of money. So, and what TMC has done, they have opened up the land in these jungle malls, okay, for sale. So these missionaries, what they are doing, they are already getting huge amount of money from the Hindu students going to their schools, right? With this money, they are buying land and making schools, missionary schools, deep in the villages. So if you go to these villages in Bankura or Purulia or Mednipur, na, you will see into the tribal land, like almost bordering the tribal land, and so to say the Shohortoli, right? Like the town. They have bought huge land. They are making some Carmel high school, Christian high schoolers, or women, girls high school kind of thing. They are making huge like hostels and these things. uh, and this is the plan to spread probably with schools, with churches, because they know that once you build a church, like once you buy a land and build a church, then it is like half job is done, right? So this time they are going to spread through the remote village areas and not through Kolkata. It's not going to be top down. It is going to be bottom up, you know. And one more thing, which is that they have already, like, I don't know, like the missionaries have captured in the heart of every town, like Bankura, Purulia, Mednipur. This is the central place is occupied by the missionaries, right? And I heard somewhere that okay, there was this 99 years of lease which is already expired, so we may have to raise our voice. But no one is talking about it. In the very heart of Bankura, you see the mission boy, mission girls, Christian college, and so 10 year, 15 year ago, they did not used to put the cross when they used to in their board. Now they're using the cross like before our eyes. You know, this is this the character. They're changing the character of the college and the land in the heart of Bankura. So we have to be very careful, and it is high time that we raise our voice against this sort of genocide. Because as per the United Nations definition, right, forcible forcible transfer of children from one group to another is actually genocide. So this is sort of a genocide that they are perpetrating, and we have to raise our voice against this.
Another one which I would like to add, on which you can maybe speak, Vijitda. So the Sirampur mission, that is a really dangerous institution that we have. For a
Right,
very long time, it has been a bane on Hindus here in
right,
Bengal, especially.
right.
So they are giving certificates, courses, and they also certify, I think, all of the primary Christian institutions all over India, especially if
Mm.
if I'm correct. And they also get a
Right.
huge amount of investments as well from, Western
Exactly.
powers and
And
so on.
so it is the Srirampur mission. So nowadays, the whole leftists are like, they are going gaga over Sati, 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 right, all the time. So the first sort of spurious, superfluous, or whatever, like false survey about Sati was done by this Srirampur mission, as far as I know. Um,
Oh
the
yes,
first
they
survey.
keep making movies, Vijitda. Yeah, they
Mhm.
keep making movies on William Carey saving some woman. Every single year they keep doing that from Sati. They keep that
So
alive.
Srirampur mission, right, right. We have to probably raise it to the right person. We will try to do it. But Srirampur mission, the that institution need to be taken care of by the West Bengal government. I mean, finally, we have gotten our land back. So probably all these vile forces, we have to take them head on this time without any masking. You know, I will try to, and
Absolutely,
Bhutinda
absolutely.
also will try to we will try to raise it to the concerned authority. Actually,
I mean, you have seen maybe how William Carey, the very infamous missionary who came here, who was the main one of the trio of Sirampur mission, William Ward
hmm.
and Joshua Marshman, the other two. William
Right.
Carey has been touted in Bengali literature as the great pioneer of Bengali language. He published
Oh,
the first dictionary. He published the first grammar book of Bengali language, and he's one of the greatest Bengalis ever. So these sort of things have been happening since TMC government. So
oh,
I've
I
seen
see.
these
Okay,
things.
wow. I did not read it in my entire syllabus, like entire 12 year of schooling. I never read about this. So this is new addition by TMC, by the way, if that is there in
They
the
have done it
syllabus.
from government. Yeah, so in you might be knowing. So in College Street there is a bookstore, I think, of government
Hmm.
Bangyo Sahitya Sabha. They
Right.
like which are government certified books. Over there, there are special biographies of certain personalities. William Carey is touted as such, the one who rejuvenated Bengali language and so on and so forth. these things
Okay,
happen.
we have to speak up against this guy actually. Um, yeah, thanks
Hmm?
for bringing this to our notice. Probably I'll make a, if possible, can you make an art, like write an article on this, so that I can
Oh,
follow.
we'll be Vijitda, you might join us in our next stream, I guess. So we'll be discussing him. Ninar is here as well, so he can maybe speak on this much
Okay,
more.
so yeah, so we'll be discussing, and then I can make a transcript out of that YouTube discussion. Sure.
Yes. So we are planning to discuss especially Sirampur Tire and exactly what relationship they had with the East India Company. Because
Let's do it in
as you know
Bengali.
that
Let's do it in Bengali, if possible.
I can only speak in English, so I
Okay,
will
so
have
you
to
do
do
it,
it.
Oh,
and then I can do it in Bengali. Actually, we can do.
Then you can
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
continue the
this is
discussion Bengali. Right, right.
I think this is the head of the whole dragon, right? So let's
Because
do a couple of
all the
episode
earlier
on this.
Bengali elite, especially like Ram Mohan Roy and all, they were very, very associated with these Sirampur Try guys. Me and Rishi
Mhm.
have discovered another person who was the grandfather of Keshav Chandra Sen, Ram Kamal Sen. He actually was
Mhm.
helping these missionaries and creating the dictionaries of Bengali language and all. So
Mhm.
the elites were completely involved with them.
Mhm. Let's do an episode on this. Okay, when are you going to? Please send me an invite or whatever. The episode.
Sure, sure. Yes, probably in
Mhm.
Sure, sure.
next in the coming days only, not very
Let's do
later.
it. This is centrally important. I need to. I mean, in the coming 5 years, I see missionaries a bigger threat than Islam. By the way.
Yes, and they have distorted our own, you can say, tradition and culture, how we portray it itself in such a fundamental manner, which is different from how Islamists have. Islamists are
Hmm.
just about power, right? They just want to take power and hurt you
Numbers.
physically.
Islam is about numbers.
Huh.
Yeah,
Physical damage. These people,
and
they are
physical
like
damage.
mental damage.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Very vile cult. Like
Yeah.
I heard
In their writings,
one of
like,
my colleague.
uh,
I mean, not colleague, but one of my friends. Um, well, from school days. She was saying that okay, there is this gang of the Catholics who are actually occupying all these HR and other positions in these like sort of corporates, and they have started to give like poor grade based on whatever, like accent, for example, or if the woman is not dressing good enough, all these Christian values. Based on that, they have started to grade women. It's just like the love judge, but they are not going to have an affair with the woman. They're just going to degrade men and women, Hindu men and women,
hmm, hmm.
based on their own self-imposed
We
Christian
speak of
values.
in Islam, we speak of the concept of al taqiyya, but the people who are really genius at it is Christians.
Exactly. So I told her ki, if there are four Christian guys who are grading you based on these things, says right away say that hey, there are four Christian Catholic Christian who is talking this shit about me because I'm a Hindu. Say it in the, like, just speak it out in the company. Like why you're so afraid? If you want, I can give you some assistance with Bajrang Dal, for example. Uh, yeah, I mean, I love Bajrang Dal more than I love RSS. I mean,
Both
so
are important in their own way.
no, both are important. It's just that Bajrang Dal, what
Hmm.
Bajrang
Yeah,
Dal
yeah.
is doing is more like is like spot on. Like like बुलाया आ गया फैसला हो गया भाई.
Okay, Vijit. So we have some few
हाँ,
questions. So we'll take a
sure, sure.
few Bengali as well as non-Bengal English questions. So this is I think Vijit will be able to answer it. Uh, বিজিতদা বাংলাদেশের একাত্তরের যুদ্ধ এবং তার অনওয়ার্ড সমসাময়িক ঘটনাগুলো নিয়ে পড়া আপনার কোনো বই আছে যেটা সাজেস্ট করতে পারে? So let me translate into English. Still, Vijay, the answers it that the user subscriber is asking, can you suggest a book based on the 71 war with the East Pakistan became Bangladesh. So 71 war was happened with India. So is there any book
I mean,
based on the 71 war
Tathagata
or
Roy
the
wrote this
areas?
book. Tathagata
Ah,
Roy wrote My People
which
Uprooted. It's a very good book.
yes, yeah, yeah. It's in English.
Yeah, yeah. In Bengali, I think there are a lot of books actually. Ekattorer Mukti Juddho niye. Obviously, you will get a Bangladeshi perspective or secular perspective. Like many of the book about Ekattorer Mukti Juddho are having secular perspective. So they're not specifically saying these the genocide perpetrated, well, like Hindu genocides. But yeah, I mean, I can send you a lot of websites actually. They have like it's in many archives of Bangladesh. You just pick one book and start reading. You can read my book, uh, History of Indonesia and Hindu Genocides. I have written around 50 pages on the Operation Searchlight. Extensive analysis whether it was genocide, whether it was Hindu genocide, was it a rape genocide, the contemporary sort of evidences. I've tried to cover all these things from the perspective of genocide actually, and the contemporary events also, how it led to the Operation Searchlight. So yeah, a lot of books are there.
Uh,
Sachi Ghostida recently came up with another book.
yes,
Yeah,
he has written a very
Ghosta
good
book.
book as well.
There is one more as well
Yeah,
that
Excuse
the
me.
whole folk music dance culture. Hmm?
yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask Vijitda, isn't Blood
Hmm.
Telegram also a good book for 71 War?
Yes, 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 yes. By the that guy, na Archer Blood.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. CIA guy. He
Ah,
said it
sure.
right, why
Yeah,
Hindus were targeted
right.
specifically.
Exactly. It's a good book. I mean, there's so many accounts there. I mean, you can just pick one book and start reading. There is one more
Yeah.
aspect. The folk being deracinated into filming cheap Londia Anaj, folk culture being reserved for performance for traditional. Yeah, yeah, I mean, agreed. But a lot of good works are being done, like Parvati Baul. They are being really pioneer in rejuvenating this, and I mean, rejuvenating the folk, for example, the Baul tradition, and sort of presenting it before us like the Gen Zs. I mean, I'm not Gen Z, but like presenting on stage like before the Gen Zs in a very aesthetic way. So I'm very hopeful that this issue will be properly addressed. Actually, yeah,
Okay. So one more important thing is, I think this is important in terms of communist how they are going to impact the economic prospects of West Bengal. So Ashok Nagar
yeah,
oil field will be used for the first time. I think Ashok
yeah.
Nagar has oil, and also there is also I think Devpachami. You have also coal there in that area.
No, that place the
So
pole is not good quality. So about
coal is
the
not good.
Devchawala,
Hmm.
that's probably not a good, yeah. But yeah, Ashok Nagar, yeah, should be. I mean, let's see. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any news about this actually. But Ashok Nagar oil field was discovered, but it has not been. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Mamta did not have any, uh, like anti-industry feeling when it, if it came to doing the exploring the Ashok Nagar oil field. So let's
No,
see
but
how it.
why do you think that TMC was not at all focused on any activity which relates to industrial activity, economic growth,
No, no.
jobs?
If see if they saw a potential in this oil field,
Hmm,
I mean,
hmm,
the whole Tolabaji culture, so they would have done it
hmm,
because it
hmm.
would have given a lot of profit and a lot of money to the Bhaipo, na? So Bhaipo would have made it possible. I see it that way. Obviously, it will be
Uh,
looted, and
yeah,
There will be
Yeah,
Mafia
because
Raj and all these
whatever
things.
information I have, like regards to even to the coalfield and also the Ashok Nagar thing, I think post 2016, correct? Mamta was not at all actually concerned about the industrial prospects. She was hell bent on like draining the exchequer and
Oh.
making sure that, see, there is also a bit of an international angle here. The next, so you have in India, correct, you have southern belt, which is economically prosperous and industrious. In time you had the western region, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, correct. That area become industrious, prosperous, correct. The
Mm-hmm.
next phase of, correct, economic prospects, if India wants to become like 10 trillion economy example, correct, the only
Right.
way India can become a 10 trillion economy or 20 trillion economy, when the eastern region, specifically Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, and also the northeastern region. Okay. But the heartline is going to be these two regions, which are the plains. So you have a lot of prospects, and you also have a lot of resources, minerals, and others. uh, you have Jharkhand, who has a lot of minerals and resources. So if India wants to become the like the third or second largest economy, eastern region is the primary growth driver, because the western and the southern region already have done a lot. So in terms of the geopolitics, it was a kind of a like to contain the Indian economic growth story by not having governments in specifically in West Bengal, which is a focal point of eastern region. Okay. Now UP is coming up, but again UP is landlocked. So you have ports here. So
Mm-hmm.
in that way, it was not that Mamta didn't want, or Bhaiba didn't want the Tola, but the masters who installed them, they said, do whatever you want, but don't do any activity in terms of economics.
Mm-hmm.
So that is
Okay.
one part of it. That's like that is a kind of like a evaluation from various perspectives.
Right.
So okay, let me see if we have any.
By the way, Bijinda, I had a question,
Yeah,
so you could talk about this. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Vimarsha also. So you said, right, how Ananda Margis were persecuted by the then communist government of Bengal.
Right.
Uh, there is also this another aspect of communists, right? So I remember, I will not disclose where I live, so but I live near Jadavpur. So the Lok Sabha candidate of Jadavpur, I'm forgetting his name, Srijan Bhattacharjee or something was his name. I'm forgetting. Maybe people can fact check me on this. So he once came to Jadavpur and he said there in a meeting that as communists we should not lose to the BJP cadre who are appealing to Hindu feelings. So we must adopt some of the Hindu figures of Bengal
Mm-hmm.
and project them as our icons. So there he said about appropriating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically. And then
Mm-hmm.
I saw some set of Kirtankar and Jatra, these sort of people started to push down
Right.
communist style of
Because why
propaganda.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they have already built the narrative that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fought against the Pandas and the Brahmins at that time, who were there since I mean, who were committing atrocity against the lower class or lower caste people. So the narrative is already built there. It is a very interesting
Yeah.
case actually. We have to dig into the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to again counter this narrative. But the narrative is already there. I can see CPM adopting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, sure. You will see a lot of
Yeah, so
podcasts recently along that line.
True, true, true. So I just remembered this. Maybe you can speak on this as well. So when they were persecuting Anandamargis, apparently CPM was also promoting another guy as their Hindu saint from their side. So he was Balak Brahmachari. He used to
Hmm.
talk about Vedic communism, some sort of
Hmm.
nonsense. I do not understand what that is, but Vedic communism, and there was a huge deal with his death. Right after his death, his body was
Right, right.
kept uh, in a
Like
freezer.
when he was kept, thought that he would resurrect or
Yeah,
something.
a huge controversy happened apparently. So Jyoti Basu had to
Right.
shy away from that whole scheme of things. Could you talk about that Balak Brahmachari, if you know, obviously,
No, Balak Brahmachari
like how?
actually got very famous. Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know much, but like he had a real impact, probably due to the whole communist movement. And it is, see, communists are very good at propagating whatever they believe should be propagated. So, in the villages of Bengal also, Balak Brahmachari, अभी भी लोगों के घर में बालक ब्रह्मचारी का फोटो कहीं कहीं मिल जाएगा. For example, my Bodo Mama, my Dadu, they were huge fan of Balak Brahmachari apparently. And they believed that this guy got resurrected. Now that's another example where they're actually using uh, the Christian ideas, right, in order to capture the imagination of the Hindus. I don't know. I see. I did not dig much into. So Balak Brahmachari was the guy. So through Balak Brahmachari, they cooked the idea कि नेताजी फिरे আসবে. So this guy Balak
Yes, yes,
Brahmachari
yes, yes.
used to
That.
hotel ki নেতাজি এখানে আছে ওখানে আছে নেতাজি will come back and get the power. So all this sort of nonsense propaganda, I mean, these communists they spread all the time. And when he
So
died, so they
this.
kept his body, and it got apparently it rotted, started to rot, and finally I think police or someone needed to intervene and take the body to the crematorium actually.
Yeah, so we are coming to the end of our discussion. So, Bijidda, do you think, correct, we have a few sects, correct, especially Vaishnavi sects. We have Kartik Maharaj, and also our CM, Honorable CM Shivendu Adhikari, is also a very devout Hindu. And also, I think he is Vaishnava or what, I'm not exactly sure. But
Oh, Shubhendu Adhikari.
yeah, is he Vaishnava or he follows some
See,
sect? So, but
his mom is from Bangladesh area, Bangladesh side. So
hmm, hmm.
mom is matlab, probably Vaishnav. But I mean, in modern day, who is Vaishnav and who is not? Like, how do you ask? I don't even know. Like, how
No, no,
would
no.
you
Actually,
like? Can you categorize?
because I'm saying that uh, fortunately for because West Bengal CM Subhendu Adhikari is now
Right, right.
in
I
full
see
swing mode
the
to actually
Chaitanya
propagate
Dev,
the.
they want to make right. I mean, I understand your point that okay, this guy is Vaishnav, so like Shubhendu Adhikari may lead from the front when it comes to this alluring the Vaishnav to go the Hindutva way and not the communist way. But you see, matlab, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually, if you study, like with my very limited
Hmm,
knowledge,
hmm,
he
hmm, hmm, hmm,
went to like ठीक है कम्युनिस्ट अगर भजन कीर्तन चालू करने जाते that is good for that is a win for us. Point one.
hmm,
Point
hmm,
two. चैतन्य देव एक्चुअली यूज टू गेट मतलब जो समाधि वाला जो होता है कि जाके समाधि मिलता है और बिल्कुल ही क्या
hmm,
बोलते हैं आजकल सदगुरु के लैंग्वेज में एक्सटेसी मिल जाता है राइट वो होता था सो चैतन्य देव महाप्रभु यूज टू गेट समाधि इन वृंदावन मथुरा इन ऑल दोस घाट्स एंड इन कृष्ण जन्मभूमि नाउ आस्क दीज कम्युनिस्ट्स कि फिर आर यू फॉर और अगेंस्ट giving the Krishna Janmabhoomi temple back to the Hindus. अगर चैतन्य महाप्रभु पे यकीन है तो वो कृष्ण जन्मभूमि में वो कारागार में जो इन्होंने ईदगाह बना के रखा है उसको हटाने के लिए आंदोलन करो वो हमें वापस करके दिखाओ ना वो वाला जो जगह है जहाँ पे कृष्ण का जन्म हुआ था चैतन्य देव तो बेसिकली कृष्ण जन्मभूमि में जो कीर्तन होता है, कीर्तन वो 24 घंटा होता है, मतलब 24 घंटा हरि नाम संकीर्तन है। वो स्टार्टेड इट चैतन्य देव महाप्रभु। तो तुम जाओ ना, फिर वो जगह हमें फिर लाके दिखाओ। अगर तुम इसके खिलाफ आंदोलन छेड़ रहे हो तो तुम, मतलब क्यों वैष्णव तुम्हें क्यों अपना लोग समझे? फिर तो तुम छल कर रहे हो, सीधी सी बात है।
No, what I was trying to convey is that we have like good stalwarts of Hindu sects, especially Bengali Hindu sects, correct, who are primarily based out of Bengal. Okay. Now they are part of the BJP government. Are they going to
हम्म।
play a very important role in uh, preventing or managing the missionary conversions, and also the appropriation of Bengali Hindu cultural symbols as kind of communist in nature? So are they going to play a very important role? Because I see from my perspective that for next 5 years, in the back end, where Suvendu is going to take care, and the ministry to take care of the industry, jobs, and all those things. But in the back end, the cultural aspect of resurgence of Hindu Bengali identity and icons, they are going to play a very important role, especially Kartik Moraj and other people who are now active members of BJP.
Yeah, I mean that is going to happen, but I mean, see, I'm not very optimistic about BJP countering missionaries actually. But time will say, right? Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you that there will be resurgence. But if you expect that the resurgence will be happening the old canonical Bengali Hindu resurgence way that happened 200 years ago, I don't think it is going to happen that way. And we don't want it to happen that way, actually. The situations are very different. And we need a different kind of response, actually, to the challenges that West Bengal is actually facing right now. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, okay, so there will be resurgence, but I don't see it happening कि बिल्कुल ही मतलब कि बंकिम चंद्र चट्टोपाध्याय भी भगवान बन गया। आई डोंट थिंक कि ये सब एक्सेप्टेबल होगा। बट जो होगा, आई थिंक इट विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। And yeah, I mean, I have hope कि Bengal finally is sort of liberated from all these श्राप, so to say, जो बहुत दिनों से एक्चुअली जेल रहे थे हम लोग। आई वांटेड टू मेंशन वन मोर पॉइंट
Yes.
कि ये जो
Yeah, yeah.
अगेन
Go ahead.
कमिंग टू चैतन्य देव, एक्चुअली
Hmm. Hmm.
चैतन्य देव इसीलिए भी ला रहे हैं क्योंकि इन्होंने एक वो मिथ भी है या पता नहीं, कहीं से एक बुक इन्होंने कुछ इनको मिला है कि चैतन्य देव को हत्या किया गया था जगन्नाथ देव के मंदिर के गर्भगृह के अंदर, और पुरी के जो पांडा थे इन्होंने हत्या करवाया था। और क्योंकि ये जो प्रताप रुद्र एक राजा था तब कलिंग का, जो इसके खिलाफ था, और क्योंकि ये बहका रहे थे जो पुअर डाउन ट्रॉडन लोअर कास्ट लोगों को भड़का रहे थे। और रथ यात्रा का जो रस्सी रस्सी है, जो दूरी है, उसको सिर्फ पहले ब्राह्मण खींचते थे, इन्होंने फिर सबके लिए बोला कि शूद्र भी खींच सकते हैं, इसलिए राजा के खिलाफ चला गया। पांडा वहाँ पे थे, सारे खिलाफ चले गए। और वो सोचते थे कि ये मुस्लिमों का ये स्पाई है जो उड़ीसा में आया है, इसलिए उसे मार दिया गया। इस तरह का एक नैरेटिव चलता है। बट द वेरी फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज, आई डोंट थिंक प्रताप रुद्र जो कि वहाँ का जब कलिंग का उस टाइम पे राजा था, ही वाज वेरी पिस्ड विथ चैतन्य देव। आई थिंक ही वाज इन सपोर्ट। ओके, सो इतना तो मुझे पता है कि एक फैक्चुअल सॉर्ट ऑफ इनएक्यूरेसी को ये लोग कम्युनिस्ट वाले भुना रहे हैं बेसिकली। बट हाँ, आई कैन सी कि ये लोग चैतन्य देव को पकड़ेंगे। आई मीन, इट्स अ वेरी स्मार्ट मूव। नाउ दैट यू हैव टोल्ड मी, आई कैन सी इट इज अ वेरी स्मार्ट मूव।
Yeah, so we're going to end this talk today. But for information, I think Ashok Nagar oil field is already going to start production. So it's a good news. And Bay of Bengal is sitting on a lot of oil and gas, which is actually a well-known fact. Like people know, like people who track this news, Bay of Bengal, including Sundarbans, correct? It is
Hmm.
sitting on a ton of gas. So if you see the correct the destabilization of Bangladesh, correct? So it is not only because of other things, but it also to make sure that the because
Hmm.
this the eastern region was historically the most wealthiest, the resource rich region in India, okay, for a long
Right.
time, okay, and it had become a kind of correct a Bimaru states, correct, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Bihar was called Bimaru states.
Hmm.
So it is for next 10 years it is going to be a kind of a boom town in terms of a lot of activity happening in around Bengal or around eastern region. So you have UP coming up, you have Assam doing well, now you have West Bengal, and it has resources which it can be utilized. So and it's going to be interesting tussle between the missionaries, it will be communists, and how the BJP government is going to take care of this.
See,
So it's going to
frankly
be a
saying, yeah, frankly saying, I have no hope with Communist Party, no hope with Trinamool, no hope with Congress, and no hope with BJP. The only party that can do any good to West Bengal is Cockroach Janata Party.
yes.
Oh God.
So the
So,
Bengal
being
words being
as a cockroach, I can say this.
uh,
I can approve this. I'm a cockroach, and I approve this message.
yeah, I think it's a good good way to end our conversation for today. So in future we are working on few programs, okay. So support us, subscribe to our channel, and also share our content, okay. Send us an email if you have any ideas, if you want to contribute in any ways. So we will be happy to contact you as well. So thank you,
Right.
Bijitda. Sorry
Thanks a lot.
for my camera being off because my bandwidth is very low, so my voice
Not a
will
problem.
crack. So we'll try
Mhm.
to fix it next time. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram, Jai Maka.
Jai Mata Di.
Jai Shri Ram.